try to get some
Hello folks, Richard Moore, USAGSA, and today we're going to discuss the attempted murder of Joseph King in Monroe County, Mississippi. This happened on April the 29th of this year. And this story is alarming, it's shocking, appalling, and very revealing when we talk about criminals with badges and a massive cover-up attempt by the sheriff of Monroe County, Kevin Crook, C-R-O-O-K, and yes, that's his real name. Before I get into it, I'd like to invite you to become a Patreon, and the link to Patreon is in the description of this video. Also, the links to support USA GSA. We're 100% supported by our listeners and followers. And without that support, we're not able to do what we're doing. So I encourage you to do the best you can. I also encourage you to subscribe and to share this content. It's very important. This is content they want to suppress, shadow ban, block, and anything else to keep this type of news and this exposure from coming forth. But we're going to keep doing it. And we just ask you that you do your part and help us to keep doing it. Before I get into the details of this shocking story, and it is shocking, and more shocking than that is a 1:27 video taken by a member of Joseph's family during an altercation with Monroe County deputies. And after the video, we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to tell you what happened.
Kelly.
No, they shot him!
I know it.
They fucking shot him! No! 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 That is private property! You're the fucker! You're the sorry pieces of shit! That is private fucking property! Y'all say that Tommy took everything he got! You piece of shit! You piece of fucking shit! Take the fucking shit!
Okay, folks, now let's get into what has happened, what you just witnessed. So Joseph King, sorry about that, I'm all over the place this morning. So Joseph King, his family have owned this property since 1984, and during the time of this event, someone had been coming onto their private property and stealing property, and this guy's name is Larry Griffin, and he's a convicted felon, and at the time had 5 outstanding capious warrants. And so this thief that was doing the stealing had rented a tractor from Busy Bee Rental. This is a rental place in Neighbor, Mississippi. Their main office is in Tupelo. And anybody doing business with Busy Bee need to take a look at what you're supporting, because you're absolutely supporting tyrants that are in cahoots with criminal and corrupt law enforcement to do their bidding. And so Griffin, the tractor dies out there. Apparently, he lets Busy Bee know that the tractor died on some else's property. And so Busy Bee, the manager, shows up, says he's going to get the tractor. The owners of the property said, "Oh, there ain't nothing going to happen. There's nothing on this property until he returns the stuff he stole." Then the manager of Busy Bee said, "Well, I'll just call the law." I love when they say call the law. They're not the law. First of all, Busy Bee, the law is a written code on the books. Okay, they're enforcement officers, so don't get it screwed up. And cops don't know the law. The prosecutors don't want them to know the law. That's how they fill these jails up and these courtrooms up, and these lawyers stay busy. And whether they're found innocent or guilty, it doesn't matter. They've already hemorrhaged thousands of dollars. The damage has already been done. And most of them are protected by qualified immunity. But I'll promise you that the officers, the deputies involved in this, their qualified immunity is going to be out the door. They have absolutely no probable cause to try to assassinate a man on his own property that was not armed. He was talking, and he wouldn't quit talking, and therefore they tased him and shot him twice. So the manager says, "I'm going to call the law." And they miraculously appeared in less than 2 minutes. So it's clear that the law was already just around the corner down the street waiting for the call to run interference on something that was simply the only criminal matter involved here was the theft of property by Griffin. As far as Busy Bee's property being on private property and them refusing to return it is a civil matter. And this has to a process of going through a judge and a court to make a decision about this. And it is no place for law enforcement to impose themselves and try to bid and do the bidding for a private business owner that's property that shouldn't be on this private property. Possession is 9/10 of the law, folks, and it shouldn't have been there. And so when this deputy shows up, and Joseph is trying to explain what's going on, they're dismissing him. They don't want to hear it. They don't hear it. They want him to shut up and quit talking on his own property. And just a few more minutes ensues. About 60 of these cockroaches with badges start crawling all over the place. And it escalates, and he's still trying to protest of what's going on. The criminal is the one that left the tractor stealing from us, etc., etc. Well, they kept dismissing that and trying to shut him up. Well, he wouldn't shut up. They tased him and shot him twice. Now, after this, now the Griffin guy has yet to be arrested, by the way. So we all know what the deal is there. It's obvious that the Griffin guy is a card-carrying rat working for law enforcement, the multi-jurisdictional task force that Kevin Crook so gracefully introduced back into Monroe County after Cecil Council ended it. And so they protect these rats, and they're allowed to roam free, buy and sell dope, use drugs, steal, and they encourage it. They encourage them to target other people. This is how they keep the judicial process, the unjust judicial process, as I'll say, turning, and how to keep these wheels turning. And so Joseph is taken to intensive care where he stays for 9 days. The family, first of all, the hospital denies that he's even there. The family already saw him there, but then after Crook got wind of that, he put the quietus to that. And for those that don't know what quietus means, that means to bring something to an abrupt halt. Okay? So Crook put the quietus to the family coming over there. And the family would call and try, and the hospital then kept denying that he was even there. Now, I don't know which hospital he was in. We can just assume that that he's in the North Mississippi Medical Center in Tupelo. It could be at the Baptist Hospital in Columbus, but I'm going to say he's in Tupelo. They do have a hospital or something there in Aberdeen, and they've got another one in Amory. And I think the biggest procedure they can do there is an enema. So I'm pretty sure he was in one of those hospitals. So they deny that he's even there. Then after they had to remove the taser, the deal with a wire attached. They had to remove that and remove one bullet. They couldn't remove the other bullet, and so he had a lot of internal damage from the gunshot. So it's a miracle that he's even alive. Now, to make matters worse, they lock the victim up, and he's still in jail on $750,000 bond on some trumped up crap that it doesn't even matter what it is. It's trumped up. He didn't break the law, so I don't want to hear, and nobody else wants to hear what they could have possibly charged him with. It's neither here nor there. Whatever they pulled out of thin air is what they charged him with. It's bogus. It's bogus. It's bogus. So as a family, calling Monroe County Jail, and I've got the recording here. Monroe County Jail booking said, well, I don't know what you're talking about. We don't have him. Same thing the hospital was saying. Now, if Kevin Crook was on the up and up and wasn't a criminal with a badge, we wouldn't be getting them kind of answers. The family wouldn't be getting them kind of answers. First of all, they had no business taking him to jail in the first place. They didn't lock the criminal up. Didn't do that. That was stealing. They didn't lock these deputies up that did the shooting. Mind you, Joseph was unarmed. And folks, that any shooting that you read about, you hear about, especially in North Mississippi. I mean, it wasn't long ago, a black man walking on the side of the road, Amory Police Department, thought they saw him pull something out of his pocket, and they assassinated him. And that's it, folks. He's dead. The cop's still on the beat, and we may never get the rest of the story because they will not turn over all the body cam footage. The family's wanting to see it, but they don't do it. So you got the ass clown in chief, Bowen, whatever his name is. They got a love affair there and Amy with this chief and have forever. And he is a clown if there ever was one. A criminal ass clown, period. Ronnie Bowen, that's who it is. I had to think of ass clown and then it's Ronnie Bowen. That's how I make those connections. And so, are the no-knock warrants that Cecil Cantrell's group was famous for, of kicking a door in and assassinating people with no weapons. And they've got a wrongful death lawsuit or have one, and all this stuff just gets swept under the rug and nothing happens. Of course, Cecil left office. He was voted out, and they put Kevin Crook in there. For the life of me, I don't know how that ever happened. Cecil had his own problems and issues. But one thing he did do, he disavowed this multi-jurisdictional task force where the feds and the states and all these people involved in a task force to combat drugs and crime in Monroe County. Really? This is, and that was the first order of business when poem reading and bedtime stories. I mean, this is what he was doing when he was running for office. They say, oh, he's a good, God-fearing man. He's going to the schools and reading to the children. I'm thinking, I'd like to know what the hell that's got to do with law enforcement. Is he want to be a school teacher, or does he want to be the sheriff? We don't need a sheriff. Nobody needs a sheriff that wants to spend his time reading to children. I mean, we've got bigger problems than that. I mean, I know these children need to learn how to read, but God forbid that we've got some overweight, overpaid criminal with a badge trying to teach children how to read or whatever he's trying to do. But Monroe County bought that crap and drank that Kool-Aid, and they're still drunk on this crap. And so he brings this multi-jurisdictional task force back in. Mind you, the same criminals that were working for Cecil Cantrell are working for Kevin Crook. He didn't get in there. Heads didn't roll. That same systemic culture of corruption, rotten to the core group, is still there and in place, all right? Because the folks running Monroe County, the ones that backed and financially got behind, and that, including that Baptist church he goes to, I think it's in Hatley, I don't know where it is, got behind him and bankrolled his bid to be sheriff. Now he's the sheriff, and he brings the task force back, and then they have this big drug bust all of a sudden, just out of nowhere. And that was a bunch of bull crap, a pomp and circumstance, dog and pony show if there ever was one. It was like they had this big drug ring and couldn't solve it, couldn't do nothing with it until they got the task force in there. Really? Why don't you tell them the whole story, Kevin? And I'm not going to take the time to get into why they want these task force in there. There's a lot of reasons, because they can circumvent due process, they can circumvent search warrants and all this stuff. Now they've got access to the federal government surveillance tactics and all the things that you don't think they should have access to. They've got it. And this is what they're doing with these task force, like down at Lowndes County, Monroe County, Lee County, all over North Mississippi. That's the deal. All of them working together. It's the same gamut, the same corrupt element. So the family calls Monroe County booking. We don't have him, and booking playing dumb. It really sounds like a skit off a hee-haw. And come to find out, they've got Joseph in Clay County. And I believe that's Eddie Scott. You like the Eddies and Jimmies. If you're Eddie or Jimmy, you can be sheriff in North Mississippi. Lowndes County, Eddie Hawkins, Eddie Scott. And then in Chickasaw County, got Jimmy Myers, Lee County, Jimmy Johnson, Union County, Jimmy Edwards. I mean, on and on and on. I mean, you can't make this crap up, folks. If you're a Jimmy or you're an Eddie, then you get to be sheriff. That's probably another reason Cecil wasn't in there, because he wasn't a Jimmy or an Eddie. And I'm still putting all this together. There's something to that. But anyway, so they've got Joseph down in Clay County. Now, why is he in Clay County? Can anybody tell me, first of all, Kevin Crook, why he's in jail in the first place? You got the wrong person in jail. He was on his own property, protesting the criminal invasion on property that was posted, private property, no trespassing. And because he wouldn't shut up and quit talking about this when you wanted him to, you tased him and shot him. I'd like to know what the hell your story, and who cares what you meant, because there's more video evidence of what happened. And we know that you still have not released any body cam footage other than a snippet of somebody shooting him in the back with a taser or something like that. It was just a snippet to try and to put a different light on this crime, but there ain't no way you can do it. So Joseph still remains in Clay County. He didn't commit a crime in Monroe County. He sure as hell didn't commit a crime in Clay County. Why is he in Clay County? Why is the sheriff of Clay County? He's got his own issues and own problems down there. But get it, they all in bed together, folks. They all in bed together. They scratching each other's back. So get him away from the scene. Let's hide him. And so, and this Monroe County said, we don't know anything about it. We don't know where he is. I mean, all these lies, the hospital, all these lies. It's an obvious cover-up. Then the family contacts MBI. And I'm just going to tell the family, you're wasting your time talking to the MBI. Ain't nobody in the state of Mississippi in the law enforcement chain of command, from Lynn Fitch's crooked ass, when she dies, they'll have to screw her in the ground. And she's over the MBI. She's the chief law enforcement officer of the state of Mississippi. I've done shows on her and written about her, and I'm not the only one. This is the fox guard in the hen house. When a cop blows somebody else's brains out, or somebody mysteriously dies in the county jail, and we get it all the time, it's whatever story, the fake news, WTVA, Channel 9, and Tupelo, or the Tupelo Journal, that birdcage liner, or the quacks down there in Columbus, WCBI and the Dispatch, respectively. These people simply give you what the police give them. Whatever the sheriff tells them, that's what they talk about, that's what they print. And damn the evidence, damn anybody else's side of the story, damn what the citizens want to hear, damn what is sent to them, the tips, that it is not going to change, honey. They got their talking points, they get their marching orders from the corrupt law enforcement that give it to them, okay? And they're sticklers for this. Once they give a story about what happened, they're not going to tolerate this story changing, being something totally different than what they said, because that's a problem, folks. That means they're liars. You mean to tell me you said all this and come to find out now you're saying all that. So, which is it? They're not going to have it. They're not going to have it. Not going to tolerate it. So once again, we've got citizens of this state, citizens of Monroe County, Mississippi, private citizens that have had their constitutional civil rights trampled on, spit on, and shredded by criminals with badges. And that's Kevin Crook. So that's why I'm talking about what I'm talking about. Because until the Department of Justice does a true investigation of the likes of Kevin Crook and what he's really doing, and these cover-ups that are going on under his watch in his county. He's the chief law enforcement officer for Monroe County, or he's supposed to be. And so when we got these murders going on in Amory and Aberdeen and all in the county, it's all happening on his watch. It's his job to do what he took an oath to do. You see, well, you've got fake Christians and fake churches, and all the churches are fake, and all the Christians are fake. I bet you we got plenty of fake ones, and everybody listening to me, you better believe that's the fact. And it's not hard to tell the difference, okay? When you've got churches that are slap full of Freemasons, you got a fake church, and you got fake Christians. Period. That argument's over with, okay? Can't serve two masters. The Bible says it. I believe it. That settles it. So these fake and phony people that prop up these criminals with badges that are living on our tax dollars, the only way that we make change is by exposing this. That's why I do what I'm doing. That's why we're here. I'm a citizen's reporter for the National Brady List. And this, in fact, this database and this list is how we level the playing field. You can submit a complaint on attorneys, judges, prosecutors, law enforcement, or their agencies. And I've got the link in the description there, and you don't have to put your name in there. You can submit this information and these reports anonymously, and it stays on their record. And believe me, this is used, and it's used in courts all across this country, federal, state, and local courts, as exculpatory evidence. And it's a game changer, folks. It's a game changer. And until folks start making these reports and these complaints and start submitting their evidence, and if for those that have video evidence of these crimes, misconduct by law enforcement, you don't know what to do with it, my contact is in the description of this. I know exactly what to do with it. trust me on that. Send it to me, and I'll promise you we'll do what we can do with it. I will keep exposing these clowns. And so, as of right now, folks, of several months, Joseph is not getting proper medical attention in Clay County Jail. They've been told that he's got a bond of $750,000. Are you kidding me? They do not intend on him getting out of jail. The best hope that Kevin Crook and Eddie Scott is hoping for is that he dies in that jail, and God forbid he gets an attorney with a backbone and they challenge this deal. That's what they don't want. They don't want it exposed. That's the reason they moved him from Monroe County to Lee County. That's the reason they want the family at the hospital. The hospital told deny he's here. The jail said deny he's here. Why the cover-up? Tell me why the cover-up. This is not the first time I've seen this. I've seen the same thing unfold nearly 3 years ago in Chickasaw County, Mississippi, with the murder-suicide of Childa and Fred Stevens. It was the same scenario. They had him hid at the hospital. They hid him in the jail till he died, and nobody ever got the truth. The only truth they ever got on that is the truth that I gave. I was there a week and a half in their home and got the whole story before this murder-suicide happened. And it was a cover-up, and this senior couple, this elderly couple, died a tragic death. And the corrupt law enforcement, including the MBI, have done nothing but cover it up, and pretend like I'm not saying anything, and try to run interference. Well, ignore me what he's talking about. And when I have all the facts and the evidence, they want to continue to dismiss this. It's not the first time. They're doing the same thing with Joseph King, and I hate it for him. I hate it for his family. But as I get more information and details on this, and I've got a good bit of details on it today, as this thing develops, I'll keep everybody else posted on what's going on. But I encourage you, once again, to subscribe and to share. Without you sharing this content everywhere you possibly can on social media, we won't achieve our goal of exposing this system of abject corruption in North Mississippi. And not just North Mississippi. We've got this problem across this nation. Phoenix, Arizona, that's one of the largest police agencies in the country. I think they're one of the fifth. And they're the only one that has no formal oversight committee or anything like that. They police themselves. And if you got a complaint, you complain to them, and it's absolutely a nightmare. But a lot of those people have been removed and fired and exposed. They've got a lot of problems. And one of the most important cogs in that wheel of that happening is the National Brady List. We've also been responsible for removing judges, removing sheriffs and chiefs, prosecutors, you name it. We are the gold standard in leveling the playing field and exposing corruption in this nation. That's the Brady List, folks. And that's the reason they hate me, because I'm an official citizen reporter for that Brady List. And I put the stuff in there, and there it sits. And they have to answer for these crimes and for their misdeeds. Folks, until next time, God bless you. Let me hear from you. My contact's in the description. And my prayers go out to Joseph King's family and what they've had to endure. And knowing that if something happened or a crime is committed, they don't have anybody they can call. You think they can pick the phone up and call the sheriff's department? If they've got a home invasion or anything else? Absolutely not. They can't call them. They know if they call them that somebody's going to get killed or thrown in jail. You're not going to call a bunch of criminals out there. Thank God we've got our Second Amendment rights, and they hate that. And you'll never see any of these cowards with badges killing and shooting somebody that actually had a weapon. It's always somebody unarmed. Think about that. If they actually see a weapon, it's usually a different story. These lard asses are hitting the high road, they in the weeds, in ditches, digging holes and everything else. But let them catch somebody that is not complying to their bizarre commands and not armed, they will shoot them, they will assassinate them. Austin Hines in Lowndes County, just named one, and we've got Joseph, and it's a long list of what they'll do, and they always say, well, they thought they saw something or whatever, and then they're covered by this qualified immunity. They act within reason because the cop thought he saw him pull something out of his pocket, some bull crap like that. So they have nobody that they can call. I think it's high time that we stand, red-blooded Americans that have a backbone instead of a wishbone, especially Monroe County, Mississippi. My God, y'all are the ones that went to the polls and put somebody by the name of Kevin Crook in there because he was reading to school children, reading Bible stories. I don't know what he was doing. That should have been your first clue that something was wrong with this Mary. That is not what we're looking for in law enforcement, okay? Buford Pusser, to my knowledge, never went to a school and wasn't reading to children. He was kicking ass and taking names and splitting wigs of criminals. They assassinated him. And we can get on a lot with that and how that relates to Harold Ray Presley and how he was assassinated in Lee County, where they could have the sheriff that they have today. So corruption has run amok in Mississippi, folks. Stay tuned. I promise you I'll be on here with more. Share, subscribe, and support. Till next time, God bless you.